For those who are coming, welcome. And this is an info share on how to create learning units for the Network eAcademy. So you are supposed to be either trainers for the Network eAcademy or people who are going to work on presentations or Moodle units and want to know a little bit more of how we do them, how we create them, and how we record sessions and learning units. And well, the idea is to get ideas and share ideas to improve the content we give. As you probably know, the Network eAcademy is an umbrella of tools or resources to improve the skills on orchestration, automation, and virtualization. We have the terminology documents with common terminology, the architecture mappings to the open digital architecture, the OEV maturity model for the entrance and research and education institutions, and the OEV public wiki. We analyze the data, but today we are going to focus on the training. So we already have 3 tracks in this Network eAcademy umbrella, but of course, under the GÉANT Learning and Development platform, there are other eAcademies or topics. So we have orchestration, automation, and virtualization, optical time and frequency networks, and quantum technologies. As we had a meeting about the Network eAcademy last week, you can go to the link here. You can take a look at the documentation, and the video will be available probably tomorrow. And there are a lot of presentations, taking into account that each one of these topics has its own presentation. And about the training, you can access the training of the Network eAcademy either from the Network eAcademy portal in the wiki, in the NetDev wiki. You can have the link here, or through the Network eAcademy training portal, also inside the wiki, where you can see these network automation, quantum technology, and time and frequency networks tracks. And you can also see that, for instance, in this case for quantum, there is an area in each one of the tracks for text links and an area for the map, for the metro map, because we have organized this in metro maps. If you go to the GÉANT Learning and Development platform, you can go through all courses, technical skills, network, and then you can find the network automation, quantum technology, and time and frequency networks tracks, among others. This is the map for the Network eAcademy in the automation side of it. This is also in the wiki and in the GLAD platform. This is the metro map for OTFN. The quantum one is the one you saw before in the previous example. And just as a heads up, there is a new working group in GNAG called the Network eAcademy, again, whose objectives are to make the tools and the contents of the Network eAcademy available not just to the GÉANT people, but also to the whole research and education community through video conferences, sign meetings, and spread the work. Check the maturity status. As I mentioned, there is a maturity model, and be a platform for discussion. So if you would like to collaborate or participate in this GNAG working group for Network eAcademy, feel free to subscribe to the mailing list or contact us in networkeacademy@list.geant.org, and we will be more than happy to have you there. And with this, I'm just giving the floor to Dónal, who is going to really give us hints on how to create learning units.
Hello, and welcome to How to Make an eAcademy Learning Unit. My name is Dónal Cunningham, and I work for HEAnet, the Irish NREN. I also work for GÉANT as part of the GN 5.2 project as both a teacher and a subtask leader for training under Mariaisabel Gandia Carriedo, who's lovely. Here are the things we'll cover in the next hour or so. A mix of what, why, and how, sound and video, and why reading all of your slides in a monotone voice is a bad idea. We'll go over eAcademy's planning document for learning units, called the Considerations document for short. At the end, we'll show you how to add content to Moodle and how to edit existing content. The first question is, what are you presenting? What you need for a learning unit is different to a how-to document or an info share. Are you presenting slides? Are you interacting with a web page? Are you running commands in a terminal window? And how long will your presentation take? I'm hoping none of you are asleep at your desks by the time I finish talking today. Why are you presenting this? Well, for most people, it's because they're members of the GN52 project and have offered some of their time to the project. If you're not a member of the project, you may have been asked to present as a subject matter expert. We have this wonderful verb in English. I wasn't volunteered, I was voluntold to do it. My gift to you today. You're doing this to share knowledge and to make life a little bit easier for those who follow you. You may even have enjoyed someone else's learning unit and were inspired to do one of your own. The GÉANT eAcademy is hosted on an instance of Moodle, and every learning unit has a course in Moodle. The GLAD team, hi Dom, creates new courses and sets contributors as teachers so that they can edit courses. Each course has several tabs, as you can see. An overview showing how long the course should take you and what its prerequisites are. A single tab with content for a short course, multiple tabs for longer courses. Some useful links for learners, a feedback form and a completion certificate for your records, and what the teacher thinks you should study next with links to other courses. Most eAcademy teachers use PowerPoint and record a video of the presentation with sound, which is then subtitled and uploaded to a private GÉANT YouTube channel. Teachers also provide the slides in either PowerPoint or PDF form. However, some teachers choose to put their content directly onto the Moodle page. That's okay too. A very few people mix PowerPoint slides with screen captures of terminal sessions and live web page browsing. Mostly me, to be fair, but if you're interested in doing this, please reach out to me and I'll show you how to do it using OBS. If you want, and there's some time left over at the end of my presentation, I can do a demo of OBS if you want. We'll focus on narrated PowerPoint since that's what most teachers use. If you're going to provide narration, then you need to record your voice. Human brains are very responsive to sound, and poor sound quality makes for very sad learners. I'm going to change the microphone I use as I present so that you can hear the difference. And somewhere here. You could just use the built-in microphone. Free, just the way we like it. The old saying still applies. You get what you pay for. In this case, average sound. The microphone isn't beside your mouth, so you pick up a lot of background noise. I'm praying that my neighbors don't start cutting the grass. Computer fans, air conditioning, squeaky chairs, you name it. Hello, my name is Dónal, and I have squeaky chair trauma. I've replaced the chair, but the memories, the nightmares, they live on. You could use earbuds. The older wired type typically have a microphone halfway down the cable. Get to know where that is and hold it closer to your mouth for better sound isolation. You will get very tired of having to do this. Modern earbuds tend to be wireless, of course. If you want to see if the sound quality really is better, record yourself. First use one microphone, then another, and see if there's an audible difference. The same thing applies to wireless headphones. I'm now going to switch to my headset. Okay, can you hear a difference between the audio you got for the last couple of slides and the audio you're getting now? And if
Yes.
so, Is it better or worse? Should be a bit better because headsets with a microphone on a boom arm bring the microphone closer to your mouth and again, improve sound isolation. Also, hands-free, wee! Do some recording to compare their output with a laptop microphone. They're designed for audio and voice calls, however, where sound quality is usually bandwidth restricted. I will now switch to a USB microphone. I will now wonder why my Bluetooth microphone isn't showing up in the list. Give me just a second, will you please? The joy of live testing. Okay, it isn't showing up for whatever reason. Okay, USB microphones are popular with the podcast recording crowd, among others. They cost more, but they can really improve your sound game. Prices vary from €50 to many times that. You may be even able to borrow one from your department, your IT department or your IT support team. The Blue Snowball and Yeti mics are popular. I have a Snowball that I normally use, but the more high-end models from Shure and Rode are very nice indeed. Some even have built-in pop filters. What's that, I hear you ask? Pop filters help protect microphones from plosive sounds. What are they? B, P, T, K. Because those sounds involve you pushing air at higher pressure than other sounds, they can overload a sensitive microphone. A pop filter is usually a disc of material like stockings or a metal grate, which allow sound to pass through, but which attenuates the plosives. Cheap, but oh, so effective. I have one permanently attached to the boom arm on my microphone. Boom arms bring the microphone closer to your mouth and leave your hands free. My one lives permanently clamped to my desk and was a Christmas present for my children, who were very happy I told them what I wanted. Okay, my computer now sees the blue snowball, so I'm going to switch to it. So this is currently what I'm using with my headset microphone. And this is my blue snowball microphone. Can you hear a difference? You should be able to. And this microphone has what we call proximity effect, which is the closer you get to it, the deeper the voice becomes. And soon you start to sound like you're the Headspace meditation app. And we're breathing in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. Or a late night radio host. Welcome to GÉANT, talking about networks on through the night. The last option is a professional microphone with an XLR connector. This is the venerable Shure SM58, probably the most recognizable vocal microphone in the world. Very few computers come with XLR connectors,
so you need to buy a USB sound card to connect them to your computer. Many models here. The Focusrite range is very popular, but there are others like PreSonus. XLR microphones come in two flavors, condenser and dynamic. The main difference being that the former needs 48-volt phantom power, which is normally provided via a switch on the USB sound card or mixer. Smaller mixers and USB sound cards, like the Behringer one on the right, do not have this option, so choose carefully before buying. The button which controls this is usually labeled either phantom or 48 volt or power, as you can see here on the Scarlett 2i2. If you're going to use a camera as part of your learning unit, then here are a few things you should know about presenting. We want to show you at your best, after all. Some people, me included, use a video overlay from their camera to appear in the corner of the screen. This used to be hard to do, but it's built into modern versions of PowerPoint and is called Cameo. It lives on the Insert menu. The nice folk in the School of Computer Science and Statistics in Trinity College Dublin told me that a lot of their students felt more engaged when they could see the teacher as they presented during the coronavirus lockdowns. You don't normally have much control over your camera, but if you have an external camera, then it often sits on the top of your monitor. This is useful because you'll normally look up a little, which makes your neck stretch a little and can eliminate the dreaded double chin. Mine is hidden by my beard. If you don't have a nice room with fancy bookshelves in the background, welcome to my shed, by the way, you can use a large piece of cloth to make a consistent single color background. You're seeing my shed, which I think is nice, but nobody else in my family does. Mains power in Europe is supplied with 50 Hz frequency. Some cameras default to 60 Hz, the US standard. If this happens, you will see flickering or horizontal lines on the screen. Depending on your operating system, you may be able to tell your camera what frequency to use, and the horizontal lines will disappear. I use a MacBook with an external webcam, and I use a program called Camera Controller, all one word, to change the mains frequency compensation. Lighting is very important. Please use good lighting when you can. Some lights produce a very harsh light, which produces sharp, defined shadows. You can soften the light using a diffuser, which reduces the shadows and lowers contrast. The cheapest diffuser? Baking paper. I have it on both my lights, and it helps bring out my soft, gentle features. Because I'm worth it. If you have a window in the room in which you record video, you can soften the light with a thin curtain. Read up on 3 lighting setups. If you can't do that, try using 2 lights, fill and key, as you see here instead. I use 2 lights, one on either side of the webcam at 45 degrees, and it really helps. Yes, I have parchment paper on both, or baking paper, to soften the light. Some people record one big video, which is fine unless you make a mistake 8 minutes in. Consider recording several video clips per unit and then stitching them together. You can use iMovie or whatever the Windows and Linux equivalents are. I produce lots of small videos and use the command line tool FFmpeg to stitch them together quickly. It saves me a lot of time. Please bear in mind the lovely Leo Marino of GÉANT will subtitle your videos, so try not to put anything important in the bottom 20-25% of the screen, as it will be obscured by the subtitles. So, Since many of you will use PowerPoint or Keynote or some other form of presentation software, let's talk about presentations. Please use the GÉANT 5.2 slide template. Actual graphic designers put a lot of thought into this. It will look shockingly familiar, since it's the one I used to make this very presentation. You get a welcome slide, an agenda slide, and lots of example slides with bulleted lists. God, PowerPoint users really love a bulleted list, don't we? Do not overuse the bulleted list. Mix it up. Try using screenshots, videos, pictures, but with an attribution so you know where it came from. I use the website Unsplash quite a bit. And terminal captures. If you're inserting a picture, you can turn off the background graphics to let the picture fill the screen. Right-click on an empty area of the background, choose Format Background, and click the box labeled Hide Background Graphics. You can also change the background fill color from the default white to black, for example, if you're inserting a picture which doesn't fill the entire slide. If you want to use CLI or terminal captures, cut and paste into a text box instead of doing a screen capture. Hide the background graphics, fill the background with solid black or white as you prefer. This lets you use big fonts for those of us with old eyes. Easy to read console fonts. Colors for highlighting. I like colors. Do think about contrast though. Use bright colors on dark backgrounds and dark colors on light backgrounds. For example, the word output above is in dark purple and is very hard to read on a black background. Here's the same thing with a white background. Can you read yellow on white? I can't. Remember, just because you think that yellow and purple is an awesome color scheme, oh God, my eyeballs, does not mean that everyone else does. Just because you can do something does not mean you should. If you're showing code or configuration documents, I like to use Visual Studio Code with its very pretty syntax highlighting in File Browser. You can use Sublime or PyCharms or even Vim in a terminal window if you like, but make it pretty for the learners, yes? Don't forget to bump up the font size. Control+ is your friend. Again, old eyeballs. Back to the GÉANT 5.2 template. An explanation of the color palette that they recommend, with hex codes for the colors too. Teal and crimson. Sounds like a 1970s rock band. Some useful boxes in nice colors and with rounded edges too. Pretty colors and smooth corners make Dónal happy. I'm not sponsored by Crayola, but I probably should be. You also get some nice graphics you can use. A set of icons in the official approved secondary color. Notes on fonts. And a couple of gorgeous GÉANT graphics. Please use alt text for those who can't see clearly. Just right-click on your image and choose View Alt Text. The AI-generated default offends my soul. Replace it. Here's an example. Now, this slide illustrates something about which I'm quite passionate. Some people watch videos on phones. Some of these people are younger than the rest of us. Smaller text is not their friend. Also, this is a lot of text for someone to read. Do you want them reading paragraphs of text or listening to you? They can't really do both. Pretty maps. Seriously though, death by PowerPoint usually means death by bullet lists. Mix it up. Shiny things. Bullet lists in moderation. When it comes to speaker notes, use bold and italic to hint to you when you should emphasize something. They're your handouts after all, so think about what you put in them. Also, they should be a script for your recording so that someone reading the notes gets exactly the same info as someone who watches a video. Word for word. So here's what not to do. Read your slides aloud. Slides are there to support what you're saying, not to replicate it. See how boring that is? Do not assume that the first recording is good enough. So you belched in the middle of the recording. Surely nobody will notice, right? Talk very quickly about a very technical thing. AI quantum picosecond resolution white rabbit. Why is the rabbit white? People also love when you read everything aloud in a boring monotone. It really engages learn. Bonus points if it's your slide text that you're reading in a very boring monotone, which we already told you not to do. Let's stop and catch our breath a little. Ooh, time for a drink. If only I thought to bring one. You should do this often when recording. For your consideration. Oh no, hang on. Sorry, that's for the Oscars. Considerations about the training for GN 5.2. This is something you should all read. Well, the GN 5.2 version anyway. It covers how to lay out the course, which tabs to use, which units to link to, contact details. It has a link to the slide template and how to use it. It even refers to the Irish version of English that I speak because Mariaisabel, our lovely task leader, is an angel with a sense of humour. But you'd have to be to work with me more than once. If you want to use OBS, as I do, as your video tool of choice, there's a link to the recording of a presentation I gave some time ago and should probably update. I'm not going to go over all of the document, but here are some of the highlights. Please use NREN examples when you can, rather than just generic ones. Don't make really long videos. Cut them up into shorter, more digestible chunks. You're allowed to use external content. Typically, we find between 5 and 15 minutes is good for a single video, and definitely skew it towards the 5 minutes rather than the 15 minutes. There's a section on how to make sure that the links in your slides are clickable. This is very important. So, let's take a tour of the eAcademy Moodle and talk about how to use it. There are several course categories in the eAcademy, and some are hidden so that students can't see the courses under development. Network automation, quantum technology, and time and frequency networks, as Mariaisabel said, each have a main category for published units and a development category for units on which people are working. If you are a teacher for a course, then you will be sent the link to your course in the development category. In the top right of the window, you will see this subtle but powerful switch. a selector for edit mode. And this, dear listeners, is where the magic happens. Here's the Ansible course as it appears to a student. Yes, I'm vain and I'm using my own learning units as examples for all of this. Truly no sound that I love more than my own voice. When I click on edit mode, two things change. I can now add sections or tabs by clicking on the little orange plus sign next to the feedback and completion certificate section. I also get 3 vertical dots above the main part of the overview page, which allows me to edit the text and graphics on the page. The course graphic is created by the lovely Leo Marino, and we may use a placeholder while you're developing it. If we click on the orange plus sign, I get a new topic tab named Topic 1. You'd think that you could just click and drag the new tab around to move it to where you want in the list of topics, but no, that would be too easy. Click on the 3 vertical dots and the drop-down menu now has Move Left and Move Right options. Use those instead. When you move the topic, the number in the topic title changes automatically. If you want to rename your topic or do other things with and to it, choose Edit Section instead. You need to click the little custom box to change the title. No, I don't know why this isn't the default. Blame Moodle and not me. You can fill in the summary field, but please notice the first icon in the list, a little angled downward arrow. The hover text is Show More Buttons, and that's exactly what will happen if you click it. More buttons, including an interesting one with less than / greater than on it, which looks like part of a HTML tag. And it's funny you should say that, because this shows you exactly that, the HTML code. And there's the raw HTML code. This is very useful. Click the Save Changes button at the bottom of the window, and off it goes. So now the topic has been renamed, and the summary text appears at the top of the page. If you go back to the Overview tab, click on the 3 vertical dots and choose Edit Section. This lets you edit the info in the table to the right-hand side of the graphic. Duration, commitment, requirements, and the text underneath. Usually a course summary and links to other eAcademy courses. Once you're happy with your content, you pass it up the reviewing chain, editing and correcting as you go. Everyone preparing an eAcademy unit is assigned a helper. You can record new videos at every step, but most people wait until they have Ivana and Pavle's blessings before recording their final videos. Mariaisabel and I will pass your slides, complete with speaker notes, to Leo Marino from GÉANT, who subtitles them. He'll pass you back links to a subtitled video on the GÉANT TV YouTube channel. You can add the URL to your Moodle page, but it's important to realize that there is a particular format with the word embed in it that's designed for embedding in web pages. Use that instead. This is a snippet of HTML that makes a thumbnail of the video appear on your web page. Notice the embed keyword in the URL, as we said. Don't forget to add your script. When you are in edit mode, the bottom of your page shows a plus in a box and the text, add an activity or resource. Click on the plus or the text, and a resource selector will pop up. I choose file. Type in a name. Description is optional and by default won't be displayed. Browse to or drag and drop a file, then scroll down to the bottom of the window and choose Save and Return to Course. Oh my goodness, finished already. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you found it enjoyable and learned a few things along the way. Give us a shout on the email address above if you'd be interested in working on a learning unit for the eAcademy.